questions you want to ask them. So we're ready to roll. And Ellen, you chose to go first, so you'll go first, and then Rich will go second.
Hi, everybody. Hello.
Hey.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Hey, you put something on Facebook, and there goes your world. So, well, hi, everybody. My name is Elad Gross. I'm running for Attorney General of Missouri. I'm trying to be the first 16-year-old Attorney General in our state system. You wouldn't believe how many people believed that when I first told you. I want to take a second. Sue, thank you. I've worked with kids for a long time, and the reason I'm up here is because of the work I've been doing with them. And so about 13 years ago, I started a nonprofit. I've been working in St. Louis City, mostly on the north side, but really all over. And our kids are having a really tough time in the state of Missouri. I am pretty tired and pretty fired up today. I don't know if all of you were watching, but yesterday the Missouri State House had a hearing in the Budget Committee, a really exciting committee. It's a really important one. And in that budget hearing, since from 1 p.m. yesterday into the night, I was watching the live stream of that budget hearing. They took a little bit of a break in the middle, thank goodness. But they were talking about kids getting kicked off of Medicaid in the state of Missouri. 100,000. 100,000 of our most vulnerable children lost health care coverage. And this started months and months and months ago. Initially, folks, mostly on the Democratic side, were very upset, me being one of them. And so I went, and I was working with state legislators. I work with a whole bunch of them all the time, and was trying to figure out what in the world is going on. I sent sunshine requests to the government. They refused to give me records without charging me exorbitant fees. Many of you know I've been in court arguing about that right now. Thankfully, the Missouri Press Association, the ACLU, and a lot of other groups are with me on that. But right now, the fight that we have is about whether we get to participate in our government or not. It's about whether our government is going to be bought by folks with a lot of money and a lot of power and very specific interests that do not include our kids. That's the fight that we have right now. And so I'm listening to this budget hearing, and they have all these excuses. Well, the economy was doing great. That's the story, right? The economy is the best it's ever been in Missouri. And so no one needs Medicaid anymore. In St. Louis City and County, in Kansas City, they are unique in one very special way in our economy in this state. They are the only two areas that have increased their job totals. The only two in the last 2 years. Only two. Everywhere else in the state, they're all losing. Everywhere. And now you come and say, well, the economy is great. We had a guy who is a professor at WashU. He's an expert in public health, and he was the guy who was supposed to oversee Medicaid on our behalf to make sure that they were spending money the right way. He was looking at this issue, and he said, this doesn't make any sense. Folks would have to increase their incomes 2 to 3 times for them to no longer have their kids eligible for Medicaid. And that's not what's happening in Missouri. So they fired him. They got rid of him. He wrote a letter in the Post-Dispatch that got run around quite a bit. Well, yesterday, for the first time, our government finally admitted we made a mistake. Those kids, almost all of them, are in fact eligible for Medicaid. So, of course, are you going to fix it? Are you going to go to these parents and say, sorry, here's a form, we'll fill it out, we'll help you do it? The answer is no. Why? Because it's the parents' fault. That's what they said. It's the parents' responsibility to not only make sure their kids are getting health care, to not only make sure their kids are getting to school, to not only have to work all of these jobs to make ends meet, to barely even be eligible for Medicaid in the first place, to figure out what the heck is going on. No, now you have to get letters from the government saying, too bad for you, and fix our mistake. That's where our government is right now. We have nobody holding our government accountable. Nobody. I was in court suing not only over the Sunshine Law stuff, but over all of this dark money spending. All this hidden money coming into our government trying to buy it so that, folks we don't even know who they are the ones who are in control. And I was in that courtroom, and I was arguing against Catherine Hanaway. I don't know if any of you know her. She was hired by Eric Greitens and his group. I was suing them. She made a lot of money off of that, so good for her. But she said in that courtroom arguing, we as the public have a right to check our government, to see what is happening in our government, to have transparency in our government. And her response was to the court, well, Your Honor, at any time, the Attorney General could come into this room. He could intervene in this case. He's the only one who can do anything about it. Mr. Gross over here is a member of the public, and the public has no right to see any of these records. So that's why I said. And then I decided to run for Attorney General of Missouri. So I've been running since October of 2018, so it's been a while. And so far, we've had over 370 meetings throughout the state of Missouri. Almost every county. We've got a few holdouts. We're going to get there. Don't worry. We're going to be there. We've got folks who have donated in mass numbers we've never seen before to an attorney general's race. This has to be different. We have got to do this in a different way than we've done before. We have to admit the mistakes that we've made as a party. We have to admit the mistakes that we have made, especially in poor areas of the state, how we've ignored and neglected far too many people. We have to take ownership of that. And we have to change the way that we do things here in Missouri. So I am really, really excited about what we've been able to do so far. We have candidates that we've been working with, state representative candidates, local county council folks, everybody who just needs a little bit of help, and they're there for the right reason. We have to take back Missouri, and it cannot be about just taking back one office. It has to be all of them. We have got to get folks engaged at a level that we've never seen before. And that's what we're going to do. So I'm really excited to be here. I'm really excited that you all are here, because you're the ones who are going to get this done. So thank you all for having me. I'm going to be around. I'll answer questions, but I appreciate it. Thank you so much.